Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for the Pear Tree Cut Files design team. Today I'm using this field trip cut file to document my son's field trip we took to an elk visiting center here in Pennsylvania. So I chaperoned with his school, and this is a photo of him and myself riding the bus out to the visitor center, and I was really surprised that he actually wanted to sit with me on the bus. I really figured he'd want to sit with his friends, but he chose to sit with me. So I'm super happy about that. I know that I need to enjoy those moments now while they last, because I'm sure before we know it, he'll be too cool to sit with his mother when she chaperones. So I've got this field trip cut file already cut out with my Cricut machine in some textured white cardstock, which is also the cardstock that I'm using for my background as well. And I'm pulling out some scraps. So I've got some scraps here from the Wherever collection by 49 and Market, and I'm just pulling those out and I'm just ripping them into some distressed little strips here to put behind my photo for some layering. And I'm also going to create a little hidden pocket to hold some more photos. You can see that I have 2 photos there on the top right. I have some sticky notes over them because those are his class photos from the trip, and I wanted to protect the other kids' privacy. So I just stuck some sticky notes over those so they're not exposed in this video. And then I will remove those whenever I actually put them into my album. So I'm going to create a little pocket behind this large photo to hold those smaller ones, like a little film strip. I think I'm going to attach those to a tag, and here I'm just backing my cut file manually. So I like to use the negative pieces from my cutting mat. So I choose the inside and I just lay them on top of the pattern paper that I want to use, and then just trim out around it, leaving a small outline around the letters so I have something to glue to the back of the cut file. So I'm just adding one more layer to this little strip here behind my photo. I'm going to cut this orange piece down a little bit so it's not showing through the other side. And then I'll layer all of those together using my ATG gun. And I'm just going to run one strip down that real quick, and then I will put all of these together. And I really like the way that this is going to pop out from my photo and just create some nice little distressed layers behind there. I thought about using it at the top like you saw. I just put it on the top, but I really liked the effect of keeping it vertical and keeping it by my photo. So I'm going to go ahead and apply all of these letters to the back side of my cut file. I like to use this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive because it dries clear, so I don't have to worry about making a mess with it. And I can go ahead and attach all of these at the same time from the back side. It's a pretty easy cut file to back. And then the second way that I like to back cut files is just gluing it directly to my paper like this. So I just apply my glue to the back side of my cut file and then stick it down directly to the front of the pattern paper that I'm using, or whatever I'm using to back it with. Sometimes I back with vellum as well. And then I just trim away the excess using some small scissors. So those are 2 ways that I back my cut files. Sometimes I use my Cricut software as well. I actually have a video on how I do that using the contour feature. And this one was pretty easy to back and fairly quick. So I just went ahead and just backed it all manually, and I'll cut that D part out in a second too. So I wanted to use one of these little acetate film strips. This is also from the Wherever collection by 49 and Market. And I just wanted to pull out one of those and add another layer back there behind my photo. And I really, really liked these leaves from this collection. I think these are the last ones that I actually have from this. So I'm going to actually just use up all of those on this layout today. This was a field trip to the Elk Center, so we were outdoors. So this is just perfect. I asked Marie to create a cut file that said field trip, and this is what she came up with. So I thought it was super cute, and I really like the font with a little cursive for the trip word at the bottom. And I went ahead and added some machine stitching to this as well. As you saw there, that's what I was zooming in on and showing you, that I did some machine stitching real quick with some black thread just to give that another little pop of texture. And then here I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and cutting mat and cutting out the center of that D. That's usually the easiest way that I find to cut those middles out. So that part's done. I'm going to go ahead and move on and grab some more embellishments and add them to this page. I'm going to kind of stick everything towards the bottom here. I want that Filmstrip cut file to go close to the bottom, but I wanted my large photo, to be big enough to house those other ones behind it. So I wanted to add another layer and a little pop of color behind it yet. And then I'll end up doing some machine stitching there as well so that I can create a little pocket to hold that film strip. I'm just going to take some easy tear tape here from Thermal Web and apply it to the back side of this little envelope pocket. This is a super strong tape. It's a double-sided tape, and it's like the name says, it's an easy tear tape, so you just kind of apply it here and you just rip it off where you want it to be. So it's super easy to use, then you just peel off that backing, but it has such a durable hold, and I really love using it for stuff like this because I know once I stick that down, it's not going to go anywhere, so I don't have to worry about it coming back off. And then my little leaves here, I'm just going to apply with some Nuvo glue and get everything stuck down here and prepped for my little photo pocket. And I've got my cut file all done and backed, and that's about where I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to apply some light adhesive on here, just on the bottom, so that I can make sure I don't stick it where my photo needs to go. And then I'll do some machine stitching along the sides here. So I'm just trying to get the placement of everything, where I want everything to go. I want those leaves somewhere over here on the side. I like a good vertical triangle, so I like to create balance in my layouts. So usually you'll find me putting things on both sides of my layout or on opposite corners to just balance everything out. There you can see that machine stitching is done. My baby girl's trying to help me. She thinks I need blending brushes, which I was actually going to use a stencil. I had a stencil here and some inks and those blending brushes out, but I ended up not doing that on this layout. So we didn't need those today, baby girl, but oh well. So I've got these little chippies that I'm using. I actually messed up filming this at one point in time. I thought my camera was on and I skipped a portion, so I think that was when I put my title down and a couple other little embellishments. Nothing major, but I just added a few embellishments, so that's all you missed. So that little die that looks like the little compass is actually from Hey Little Magpie. I love it. I think it's super cute. This is actually the first time I've gotten to use it on a layout, and I really like it. I'm going to be using that more in the future because I just love how perfect that cut out, and it was so cute. It turned out really nice in that pattern paper. And then I've just cut out a bunch of these little butterfly dies by Catherine Pooler, and I just cut a few of those out in the patterned scraps that I had laying here, left over from those little strips that I did on the back. So I am just using those to add and sprinkle around my layouts. I'm actually not going to add sequins to this one. I know it's a big shocker that I'm not adding sequins to layout, but I thought this one had enough going on, and I really liked the focus on that little film strip tab at the top. So I'm just going to leave this one without sequins, and I'm just adding a few of these little chipboard hearts along with those butterflies instead. So I just need to finish sticking all of this down, and this is going to finish it up pretty soon here. I'm just trying to figure out if I wanted to add any more layers or tuck anything else in, but I think I'm just going to leave it pretty much how it is at this point. So we'll add a couple more little chipboard hearts from this Wherever collection. And I'm actually almost done with this Nuvo glue bottle. I'm surprised that I have whipped through that bottle so fast. It seems like I just opened that one up like a month ago, but apparently I've been pretty busy around here lately because that one's already almost empty. I've added some twine from a Cherry on Top shop, and I'm also going to pull out some Nuvo so that I can add some blue splatters here. I know I didn't add sequins, but I am going to still add some splatters. That's another one of my favorite things to put on my layouts. And then just stamping my date. That's going to finish this one off. This is how it looks, all done and ready to go into my album. I hope I've inspired you guys to create something today and given you some ideas. And I'll link that cut file and all the supplies that I've used below in case you want to grab anything from the shops. So thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.